You know, I am not a smart man. And after reading all the things that I've been reading about the Eagles today, I am even dumber than I was this morning. That's right. It is getting harder and harder to calculate the calculations of the cornbread because I can't do math and I can't remember numbers. I'm getting really dumb. And I'm already dumb. But that's just the way it is.
Well, hello, good people. Mark Holmes here. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. And since Philly 500 admits that he's dumb, I'd say I'm probably just as dumb as he is because I have no idea what the hell is going on with my team. And it is crazy to see what's going on. I don't know if anybody's going to show up because so many people are so fed up with the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah,
I'm going to bring up here. I've got Stacy Schubert is already in the house here. And I need to move you on to a different. Hold on. See, look at this. This is messed up because I'm not even on the right page here. Let me go ahead and get Stacy on. Good afternoon, Stacy. How are you doing today?
I'm fine. I hope you are. I'm fed up like everyone else, but I'm going to keep coming back to the well. I can't give up.
For everybody, shout out to the ladies in the place. I see Lady Libra in the house because you ladies run this mother. And Gina Dallas Diva, what's up, Gina? And of course, we got Lady Libra and Crystal Caramel Corn, and of course, Stacy Schubert's in the house. Karen Dugan, what's up, Karen? Shout out to you and everything else. You know, I am so blessed to have so many wonderful ladies in the place with the style and the grace. I was talking with Stacy. Shout out to Stacy here, who was here, you know, before anybody else. And I see Joe was also here too.
Mark.
It feels like it is a feeding frenzy right now where everybody, or maybe a mob, I should say, maybe that's a better term for it, that we have a mob that everybody's carrying torches and everybody wants some blood. They want somebody to blame, and it's just everybody's pissed off. My buddy Wade, who's in Dallas, shout out to Wade, he had texted me earlier today, and it's like, I don't know why, you know, we don't show up. And I saw a post on Instagram that literally blew my mind away. And this is going to be crazy. I want to, let me pull it up because I want to give the exact numbers in here. So this is our Cowboys stars when it comes to playoffs. We have so many guys that play well during regular season and things like that. Dak Prescott in his 7 playoff games has Regina Green. Sorry, what's up, Regina? Has 14 TDs, 7 interceptions. Not the worst in the world. I'm not going to say that that's the worst numbers in the world because I don't think Tony Romo ever had more than 2 TD passes in a game. In fact, I will say Tony Romo in his 6 games has 8 TDs and I think 2 interceptions. So you can't say that he was playing, you know, outstanding in the playoffs. Okay, so that was the good number for us in here. Now listen to these. Micah Parsons in 4 playoff games has 1 sack. CeeDee Lamb in 4 playoff games, 1 TD. D-Law in 9 playoff games, 3 sacks. And Tony Pollard in 4 playoff games, 1 TD. You can blame solely, and this is where everybody's, yeah, it's Dak Prescott. We just don't pay him, get rid of him. Maybe, you know, and I got that same hat, Joe. I love that hat.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Salute the service one. You can get rid of Dak, and maybe you get somebody who can play. Maybe he gets, you know, 3 touchdowns and 1 interception a game, you know, to help us some. But that says that your best wide receiver, your best running back, and your 2 best edge rushers ain't busted a grape.
No.
So what is the deal? Why is this? And I don't have an answer for it. Why is it that nobody, and I mean nobody, in Game Time, I want to get you in here, my man. I do have some other news on the draft too, Game Time, so maybe some good news. I don't understand how it is nobody shows up when it comes to play. Is this coaching? Is this, we just choke when it comes to that? I mean, I can understand, you have the McNabb moment where you want to throw up and stuff for the game, but everybody?
Yeah.
Do we need psychiatrists? Do we need to, be like I Love Weed needs to come into the locker room before the game so we all smoke a J and can relax? That's crazy.
Right.
My husband said it too, that, in the big games, the stars don't show up.
I'm going to say, you know what? Hold. Let me start this because, see, I'm going to let you mother humpers know that are first time people in here. I want to welcome you jackasses fully in here because Robo Greek, I ain't never in my life seen you before. Don't come in my house talking a whole bunch of stupid shit because you know what I'm going to do? First thing I'm going to do is
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
and then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put your ass on timeout because I ain't got time to waste, okay? I ain't got time to waste. I got these great people here that are channel members. They want to have some stuff going on in here, okay? And so on. Fat, what is that? Fat Falk, not coaches, it's Dak. Dude, you didn't listen to what the hell I just said, did you? Dak has got 14 TDs, 7 interceptions in 7 games. D-Law in 9 games has 3 sacks. Micah Parsons in 4 games has 1 sack. CeeDee Lamb in 4 games has 1 TD. Tony Pollard in 4 games has 1 TD. Don't say it's just Dak, because nobody, and I mean nobody on the Dallas Cowboys shows up in playoffs. Can you get that through your fat flock, hawk, whatever the fuck you are, head? Nobody. You can't point to anybody and say that guy did everything to win other than maybe Peyton Hendershot.
Mark.
Jesus Christ.
Absolutely right. And all these idiots saying get rid of Dak. You and me are old enough. We know what the lean years we had.
Oh, my God.
Man.
Oh my! And I'm going to give you an example here, because if you want to be the Commanders, go ahead, just get rid of Dak, because as bad as people talk about Kirk Cousins, right? Kirk Cousins, Washington couldn't wait to get him out the door, but for 3 years he was their starter. 3 years, they actually had a chance. And they said, you know what, we're going to franchise tag that guy 2 years in a row. And we're going to let him walk. We're not going to get anything for him because we found a veteran quarterback in Alex Smith.
Ugh.
Right? They paid him $73 million. And before, this is what's crazy is because everybody, he got his leg shattered. As bad as they were talking about Dak Prescott that year, how Dak was playing, Alex Smith's numbers were worse. He messes up his leg, and then they went through. They drafted Dwayne Haskins. They had Colt McCoys. They, brought in Ryan Fitzpatrick. They have been the litany of quarterbacks over and over and over again. And you have to look at it and say, they probably would have saved money having paid Kirk Cousins instead of all these other guys. And some of those years, like when they had Carson Wentz there, if Kirk Cousins playing, they'd been a playoff team. Now, by all means, I'm not saying that Kirk Cousins or Dak Prescott is it, but we're sitting here ready to run out the players that are playing the best for us. You get rid of Micah Parsons, he's selfish. We got to get rid of you mean the guy who had 100 pressures? One of only, 4 players to ever have 100 pressures in a season? We want to get rid of the guy who had 14 sacks. The last time somebody had 14 sacks was D-Law in 2017. Right? And only the second one since D-Ware had since 2010 or something like that. So we want to get rid of that guy. Right? We want to get rid of the quarterback that at least had 36 TDs and only 9 interceptions. Really? Y'all get me off the ledge, please. Derek J, your reactions. Am I as bad as one of those, people that are being arrested where you're reacting to? I need you to react to me, bro.
You're definitely not as bad as the people I be reacting to. They get arrested. But I I don't know. People is
Shout out to
frustrated.
Howard.
It's like right after the Cowboys lose. It's a cycle. It's
You mean it's
this
like a
time of year,
period?
every year we want to get rid of
It's like a
everybody, we want to
period.
start all over. And then come training camp, everybody loves everybody. Let's go.
Yep.
It's the cycle. We're in the cycle.
We in that cycle.
But I want to get it. You know,
We are.
okay. So this is like a menstrual cycle, is what we're saying. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm just pulling it. Oh Lordy, Leo's in here. You know what? I'm going to say at least I had a funny. I had a funny conversation because Philly 500 texted me this morning and he was like, "Boy, it's crazy in Dallas." I said, "I know you're not talking." I said, "Look at your coach." I said, "They literally cut his wavels off." He said, "Yeah, and they fed him to him."
But that's Eagles fans. That's what we do. What we're not going to do is we're not going to sell you on our cream.
I just can't.
Got my new lid, Leo.
I just can't. I can't today, Leo.
Mitchell Ness tonight.
My man. Hey,
Okay, we're talking about. You know what, Leo? I tell you
Really?
what, Leo. You know what we're gonna do? Okay, email me again, and what we will do is you and me, just me and you. We will do a breakdown on the Eagles and their drama and why you have hope for them. Okay, now we are having a Cowboys. You know, this is our pity party where we're crying today about our Cowboys. Okay, and the drama that is. Now I will say, Brian, you have to admit, being a Dallas Cowboy YouTuber, there's never lack of content.
No, this is Mark. Mark made a comment a while.
Shout out to Howard. Thank you for the super
because
chat.
The season's over. Don't mean it's over. I'm like,
Oh.
it's going to get lean, man. We're going to be
Shit.
No, it ain't never lean being a Cowboy fan because just look, we got. I didn't want to say his name. We got Stephen Jones. People.
No, we have to keep saying his name. We have to keep saying his name.
I don't want to say Cowboy
Because up in the Dallas Cowboys tower where he's up there getting all of us mad at each other. He's got us all fighting on trade Dak, keep Dak, and right. You know and they're nice and clean. They're blame free. It's all of us down here fighting over who's to blame and pointing out the pieces that we actually have that are decent. I still am mind blown that every single one of our great players, and this is not just these guys. You can go back to Tony Romo in playoffs. You can go back to D-Ware in playoffs for us. For some reason, when we get to playoffs, our guys don't show up, and I don't know why. It doesn't make sense.
I know why. But
Why? So please tell me.
and I have a theory too.
Oh, Lordy. I don't want to hear.
Just get this out real quick, and then I will let everybody talk.
Please, tell me.
We are deficient in the trenches, and we have been for quite some
Well, that's
time.
true, too.
Offensive line, mainly center. Listen, man, we are not, and we can, I could get into why. I mentioned this earlier in the season. This Mike Solari. Listen,
Hey, baby.
buddy, nothing personal, but Mark, he runs the same scheme as that guy from the Cincinnati, Paul Alexander, that we brought in a few years ago.
Right.
He stresses high-low. Now, you played offensive line, okay? My brother was an offensive lineman in college. High-low, it's all about the hands, okay? It's all about the hands. Yeah. It's different. Here's the problem with that. Terrence Steele, he's better when he just mauls a guy. When he has to start getting, it's all in the trenches, man. We need a left tackle.
There's a big, and there's a lot to that.
We need some D tackles, and we need some linebackers.
Well, and also, too, I'm going to say it's also the philosophy of guys, because there's a difference of being a pass rusher where the Cowboys like to have guys that are long and fast, okay? And you start looking at, and this is one of the things I meant to do today. There's always, I have ideas in my head that for you to keep going through it. But I actually need to go through and look at the size of everybody across the board that we have on our defense. When it comes to run stopping, you need guys that are actually a little bit on the shorter and heavier sides that have a low center of gravity. When you have somebody who's like 6'5" and they're 280, there's not a lot of meat on there.
Shout out to Hal Florida.
And so when you're that tall, it's easier to get up underneath of your pads. When you're a guy who's 5'11" and 320 pounds, they're not getting below you. You're harder to move. And that's the thing. I played nose guard at 225 pounds, back in the 80s. The thing was, if you told me I'm stunting, if I'm shooting the gap, I was quick enough that they couldn't touch me. But if I had to take on a double team, I'm back there with the safety. Shout out to Howard Floyd again.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Howard Floyd, man. You're paying for the draft trip. That's a gas. That's gas right there, Howard Floyd.
Mark, don't let Leo fool you. Eagle fans are crying too. Yeah, I believe me. That's where I said there's just as much drama with the Eagles. If you saw their press conference and they were literally asking your coach, well, what's going to be your job? Oh, I'll be sitting in on some defensive meetings, and in other words, you ain't doing shit. They catch you off at the knees, bro. So Leo, and they're even talking about interviewing Kellen Moore.
Let's let Leo.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah, I saw that. We put that interview in, but they hired Vic Fangio this afternoon. They made it official.
Yeah,
and so I think the thing is that Nick Sirianni, he had to answer to Jeffrey Lurie, right? And you have to give Jeffrey, when Jeffrey Lurie says he wants answers, you better have some good ass answers or you're out of here. I.e., a la Doug Peterson. They had a bit of a stalemate when they had his last exit interview, and Jeffrey Lurie was like, all right, you gone. And that was it, And so I think the issue is that now you're starting to see the youth that is in Nick Sirianni. If you see, like Mark, I always say this because I like, you don't realize how much your perspective sort of kind of drives home what a lot of these teams need, meaning, you said it earlier, I'm the same age as the number of
Super Bowls. Yeah,
Super Bowls.
That's right? How I remember how old I am.
Right. But
what Super Bowl is
But here's the thing, though. With a person of your age, you know what I'm saying? You've seen some things and you've done some things. So you bring a particular type of perspective that someone like Nick Sirianni could actually learn from at this age.
Like being a little more humble, okay? He's such a God.
Absolutely.
God,
right.
He's annoying.
I know what it is. I know what his tendencies are that gets under other people's skin. I know a lot of people didn't like that whole and the whole how do you like us now, Kansas City fans, Chiefs fans, or whatever. He has this thing where he can get up under your skin. I get that.
But Eagle fans like that.
Yeah, but he's you. I was gonna say that's the way he is. He's young though, Mark.
Right.
He's young. When you have somebody like a Vic Fangio, you know what I'm saying? You're not going to be able to talk around him. You're not going to be able to talk over him. That dude he's forgotten more than what Nick has learned. You see what I'm saying? At this age. And that's what I think you also need to have in terms of from an offensive coordinator perspective too. The right kind of youth and older experience, even on the coaching staff, as well as amongst the players themselves. Again, for our defense to take such a heavy nosedive, it had to be more than just from this year versus last year. It's because, Jonathan Gannon was out of here, but so was Vic Fangio too. You know what I'm saying? Who was a very big part of that as a consultant last year. So I think that once Nick Sirianni and Howie Roseman got in front of Jeffrey Lurie and he asked them, how's y'all going to fix this? The answers that they gave must have worked because he's still the head coach.
And I'll just, since I'm in the area, I don't know, I guess, Leo, you're in the area too. What I'll say is regarding that whole thing is Nick was in a situation where he had to be the Grim Reaper. They weren't allowing Jeffrey Lurie or anybody else, Howie. No, they made Nick let these guys know. And it's still to be determined. I don't know. I haven't heard of Jalen Hurts being interviewed since the Brian Johnson release. He was on record as saying he wanted Brian back. There's a family friend. And when
he had Dak say he wanted, kind of Kellen Moore. He liked working with Kellen Moore before the end of last year when he was fired.
Well, yeah, I understand, but Brian, but when you questioned how he said, did you let Jalen have an input regarding Brian, or what was Jalen's reaction? And Howie did not answer. If it was anything good, you would have said, oh, well, he knows it's a business, yada, yada. He said, you'll have to ask or talk to Jalen. I'm just telling you, it could not have been good, but I think it was good for the organization. But
Absolutely.
I don't know that it's good with Jalen.
Well,
before you go on, Leo, I saw something that was interesting, and I can't remember where I saw it, but I saw where somebody was saying that they actually threw the organization under the bus. They said they shouldn't. It's surprising that they were able to win that Super Bowl in 2017 with the organization as dysfunctional as it is, which I was kind of surprised on. Because we always look at the Joneses and how they're doing all their stuff, but it seems like when the team started going downhill, all of a sudden you started getting all of the onion peeled back and finding out that Jeffrey Lurie's son, I believe it is, has got the analytics and everything else, and the game plan comes up through there, that Nick Sirianni basically was hired because he was basically, I'll do whatever you want me to do, that there were other people that may have been more qualified, but basically he's like, please, sir, anything, you do anything, I'll do whatever you want me to do. And that's why he got the job. And
are you talking about when we won the Super Bowl or when we went to the Super Bowl?
No, this was going back, because they were saying how dysfunctional. When you won in 2017, that you guys.
Well, that was the one win that you had.
That was the one win, but they said it was a miracle because of how dysfunctional that the organization was.
I don't think so. I don't. And let me say this to you. You know what I'm saying? Because when that year we won the Super Bowl, you got to remember, we were only just a few years removed from Chip Kelly having blown the whole damn team up.
Well, you were actually the fourth place in the division the year before.
Right, but I'm just saying we were just a few years removed from that having gotten rid of Chip Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
So when the year that we went to the Super Bowl, that year we were the walking wounded. You got to remember, when we went, we didn't just lose Carson Wentz. We lost Jason Peters. We lost Darren Sproles. We lost. But you
guys made moves because you got like Jay Ajayi from Miami, which
we got him in the middle of the year,
right? But I said that's the one thing I can say I at least admire about the Eagles is they don't just say we believe in our guys and we don't have a linebacker, so let's see what position do we have a couple extra guys. Hey, we'll make a safety a linebacker and we're okay, huh?
You can bet this one thing.
What's that?
Howie Roseman's going to spend whatever money he has.
Yes.
Yeah, because he can't draft.
Spend that money.
Yes. And that's what a lot of people want to see from their own GMs. Hey, regardless of whether it does or doesn't work, the fact that you have an active GM who will do whatever it takes to get what you need. That's something all people want to really, when you think about it, that's all people want to see. I think
you know why that is, Leo?
I'll say this. I think me and Mark touched on this not too long ago, but Dallas fans would much rather other fan bases know who their GM is versus their owner.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even though the GM and the owner is the same person, you know what I'm saying? It's just, most people don't know who the owner of the Eagles is. But they know Howie.
Okay, let's get some other people.
Roseman is fighting for a job and wants to prove. Stephen Catboy Jones don't have to prove shit. He owns he owns the team.
There you go.
He ain't getting fired. Okay? He ain't getting fired.
He's going, as soon as Jerry Jones dies or steps down, he's going to take over. He's going to be the owner.
Exactly, Lord.
Well, let's back that up. Basically, the day-to-day operations are it's already Stephen Jones's team.
But I mean, that's the problem when your owner / whatever is your general manager, because now at the end of the day, you're not on a chopping block. Right?
Will McClay is the patsy.
Howie's fighting for a job. 1 year he's Howie Big D Roseman. The next year he needs to go. It's been a seesaw with him. Howie, the one thing, and Leo could attest to this, Howie is a great a talent acquisitioner, and he's great with the cap. He's not. I'll argue till the death. He ain't a good drafter, and I'm outside of the top 10. He hit a good one with Jalen Hurts. kudos. That shit don't happen very often. But I could go on and on and on. Jalen Rager.
Well, I will say this.
I mean,
I was
going
going to say. I was just about to say, when you look at that draft with Jalen Rager on back, terrible. But when you look at everything from then on,
I'm just putting a blanket on. He's not known for his drafting. If I could have Will McClay and Howie Roseman, I am set because I got Will, who's unbelievable at drafting. Last year aside, I think they got a little too cute. But and then you add Howie, who is going to spend the money, and listen. We can say whatever we want. That Jalen Hurts contract still ain't affecting the Eagles. They're gonna have upwards of $60 million under the cap.
It won't unless. But don't let it end up being that he plays this year and they want to get rid of him.
Yeah. I mean,
they can't. He has a no trade clause.
No, but they just cut him.
He means the hit. What's up, Clement?
I mean, we got Russell Wilson with a no trade clause too, and they're talking about basically cutting. They benched his ass. They're going to take the bullet and cut him. And I'm not sure that.
But then you'll be accepting a whole lot of dead cap money.
Okay, but good money versus bad. If it ends up being, let's say Jalen Hurts is Carson Wentz 2.0. Let's say Jalen Hurts ends up having 18 TDs and 18 interceptions next year and just looks like he's ass. I'm just saying hypothetically.
Right.
Do you look and say, well, we got to keep him because we got to pay him a whole bunch of money?
Right. I think that well, first off, I do think that I'm not sure where this talk about Jalen Hurts being a prima donna and all that stuff is coming from. However, and Brian could tell you, by being in the market, you know what I'm saying, the fact that he's not giving anything is unsettling for a lot of these folks.
Well, that's the thing.
He doesn't. He does. And to be honest with you, in years past, especially being here, knowing how things are, truth be told, this is exactly how you handle the Philadelphia market. You know what I'm saying? Because this is something that he's probably best prepared for. I mean, Mark, come on. How many arguments have you ever had with your best friend? You know what I'm saying? When y'all argue, you know what I'm saying? You gonna argue. You know how your best friend know exactly what to say or do to bring you back down to earth or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what makes y'all best friends. Well, cameras caught him and AJ going at it again. You know what I'm saying? The way that they do. But it made people uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? And they made people think about, the first thing they thought was Donovan and Terrell Owens, not understanding, that's just the way their relationship worked. That's how they talk to each other. You just caught it all. Like,
okay,
Mark, I'll be honest with you, bro.
Listen, I got enough drama here to worry about. I'm happy that there's dysfunction. By all means, keep Jalen Hurts.
That's the thing, though. It's not dysfunction.
Okay, I got no problems with you guys imploding and cutting off your coach's nuts. I'm okay with that. Yeah, we love that.
It's nothing on the level of what's going on in Dallas. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody's family members is going after management with our team.
I was talking. Listen, I was talking to one of your brightest minds, and he seems a little confused.
I am not a smart man. And after reading all the things that I've been reading about the Eagles today, I am even dumber than I was this morning. That's right. It is getting harder and harder to calculate the calculations of the cornbread because I can't do math and I can't remember numbers. I'm getting really dumb. And I'm already dumb. But that's just the way it is.
He's having a hard time keeping up with the calculations for the calculations. All right, so Loyal, what do you think? Forget the Eagles. I'm happy that they got their own issues, but we got to figure out why the hell our players welcome Ray to becoming a channel member.
Roy V. Poleski Jr., welcome to the Mojo crew.
Definitely go to the community tab so you can get the link so we can get you your shot glass and your football there.
Attitude is a reflection of leadership, Mark. That's all I'll tell you.
What do you think we need? Is that what you're asking me?
Well, I'm trying to understand why, and this is where Game Time has said it's because of the lines, which that does have a lot to do with it, because playoff football is more difficult than when you're playing against the Giants and the Commanders and some of the lesser teams. But we have this thing that our stars do not show up in the playoffs.
They just get shell shocked.
And people will only say Dak Prescott, but Tony Pollard 1 TD in 4 games. CeeDee Lamb 1 TD 4 games.
DMV said it best, Mark. Talent doesn't mean anything without culture.
Well, there you go. So is that the problem?
I've been saying it's culture.
I think that's
Miss Hot Sauce Lola, what's up?
like Charles Haley says too.
And our Achilles heel is
Stefan,
stopping
if
the
you're a
run.
channel member, the link is in the
Linda Conyers, what I was trying to get
Community
at,
tab.
Leo will, and I think Leo will agree with me. Howie is not, and he's not the owner. He's not family. Yep. He is fighting for a job. If he has another subpar year, it's very possible that he gets replaced. Whereas Stephen Jones ain't going nowhere. That's all I meant.
Right.
Hey, Brian, they kicked him out of the building. Remember that?
I remember.
Put him in a closet.
Yes.
They put Howie Roseman in a closet.
What? I never heard that one.
When Chip
Jalen's teammates disrespect him on the field.
Chip
Shout
Kelly
out to you.
was the coach, Mark. They put Howie in a closet, like a real closet. He was banished from the NovaCare complex.
Yep, this is true.
And
you mean they put his office, or they just like when you tie a guy to the goalpost?
They put him down at the end of the hallway, and he had no authority for nothing.
Nothing. For like a couple years. Yeah.
And how did he become the GM?
All I'm trying to say, Linda, is that we're screwed because Stephen Jones had, especially when Jerry, he's not answering to Jerry now, let alone when Jerry's, God forbid, something happens to Jerry. Who's going to tell Stephen Jones what to do? Charlotte?
Well, maybe. At this point, I would be happy to give Charlotte a chance.
He's going to have the authority.
For real. I would love for Charlotte to take over, because I think with her being a female, females love to take risks. I think she would take a few risks.
Well, we've already heard Stephen Jones say that when Jerry's gone, they'll take less risk. And I'm kind of like, you're not taking any risk now. What are you talking about?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Our biggest problem has been every year. I'm sorry, Thomas. Go ahead.
But Brian, getting back to Howie Roseman, I can say this. He's good at he's good at player acquisition. Yes. I can tell you that.
Yeah, that's
he's
what
good at acquisition.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, you team him up with Will McClay? Shit, I would love that. But
our biggest problem has been just stopping the run every time we play in the playoffs.
Right.
And running the football.
Three Hankins.
You look at there's a pattern. Yeah. Green Bay, we couldn't stop the run.
I don't know if this
49ers, we couldn't stop the run both times. The Rams, we couldn't stop the run.
I don't know if this is true, Loyal, but rumor is, and if this is true, then I lost a lot of respect, because Leo will tell you that if Dan Quinn gets a head coaching job, he's gonna bring Chip Kelly in as the OC.
I saw.
You know that I know that you know that I know. Here's the problem with Chip Kelly: you can't run that offense in the NFL. You can't go fucking up tempo the whole game. Here's
the question on that one is,
you can't play that game in the NFL.
Somebody in Seattle leaked that out and said it's a package deal. That
Chip Kelly a bit of we do. Here's the thing: you're absolutely right, Brian, but all Eagles fans do owe Chip Kelly a bit of a small ounce of gratitude. Because it was Chip Kelly who gave Frank Wright and Doug Peterson the source code on how to what best works for Nick Foles, and that was that RPO.
He was
the one. Yeah, he was. When they didn't know what to do, they actually went to Chip Kelly, and
I will tell you. That offense with the whole read option with Nick Foles, for whatever reason, it don't make any sense on paper. My man was lights out for that whole playoff run.
Yep.
So much so that he beat arguably the best combo coach quarterback in history in a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That was impressive.
Yeah.
And then they went and got rid of him. So mean Doug, but that's another story. But absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're right. You're right, Brian. You're right. Yeah.
But I mean, it just don't work for the most part. When he was running the show, it just, you can't do that. So that kind of is a little knock on Dan Quinn. If it's true, I don't know. This is the silly season, Mark, so we don't know what is true.
Speaking of silly season,
like you guys have the thing with Dallas is that if you look back to, and Mark has called them great quarterbacks, the last two great quarterbacks, which is basically Romo and Dak, right? We're looking at.
I don't know if
I didn't say great, or I would say that we've been fortunate to actually go from Romo being consistent to Dak Prescott.
The quarterbacks you would call good, Dak and Tony Romo, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're good. The problem is that I feel like they played to their pedigree because they all came into the organization as camp arms. It's not like they were they were high draft picks.
Okay, being high draft chicks, that's subjective. I mean, you can listen to Mel Kiper Jr. and how many times has he been wrong where he's gone through and said this guy is going to be great, and they end up being a stiff. I mean, they were all on Josh Rosen about how great he was going to be. They were on Paxton Lynch was so much better. It was going to be so much better. Yep. So you can't go by what somebody was drafted. There's no thing that anoints you that's automatically because they said you're going to be great and you're going to do this. It doesn't mean anything. Roger Staubach was a 12th round draft pick.
You're right, Mark. But at the same time, it's like it's the most reasonable explanation as to why you can't get over that.
No, okay, Leo. Okay, that's what I got for you, because I can sit here and look, as much as people want to turn around and say, Micah Parsons failed that game. I'm looking at that defense and I'm honestly saying, how many great players are on that defense? Honestly, D-Law had a good season, but D-Law's getting up there in age. He had 3 sacks on the season. Okay, Dorrance Armstrong had 7.5 sacks. What defensive lineman there do you compare to what you guys had?
None.
Exactly, none. Okay, we had our best linebacker was Leighton Vander Esch. He got injured like he always does.
He's a China dog,
and we literally are taking safeties and trying to make them linebackers to stop runs. There's a big difference in being a safety versus being a linebacker. You have to know how to scrape, how you get used to having to take on those guards and being instinctual. That was a recipe for failure. So when you say it's Dak Prescott choked, well, when I've got Zeke Elliott, who's supposed to be a generational running back, and in his career in the playoffs, he averaged 66 yards a game. And in 6 playoff games, had 2 TDs. And I will say that his rookie year skews the numbers because he had 120 yards in his first game. So if your best generational running back was not running the football good, how can you just say it's all the quarterback? If your, LT Light in 4 games has 1 sack and you don't really have anybody else to rely on, how can you blame that on the quarterback? If I go back with Lawrence Taylor and I look about, Carl Banks on the other side and all the other players that were also there with LT, those guys, he made them better, but they also made him better because you had to worry about those guys. If you shut down Micah Parsons, who scares you on the Dallas Cowboys defense?
Right.
Nobody does. Right. You can look and say, Jalen Carter, he definitely scared you. Jordan Davis, when he wasn't fat and overweight, he looked like a guy who could at least be an immovable force. We didn't have any of that kind of stuff.
Hassan Reddick, you could say,
right.
You could say
and so,
Sweat,
as they were comparing Micah Parsons, well, Micah Parsons is lazy, because he's not being a linebacker. If he's playing great as defensive end, and it's like nobody else is being asked to play 2 positions. And when you look at that, you say you got Joey Bosa, you got Chase Young and Randy Gregory, you got Armstead there, and and you got Hassan Reddick. Hargrave in there. Okay, so being, for being Fred Warner, you don't have to be as great. Now, we're literally saying that the guy who got 14 sacks and 100 pressures as the edge rusher, he needs to also play the linebacker. Then who the hell is rushing the quarterback? Come on, man. This is where they literally are doing Micah Parsons like they do Dak Prescott.
You know what, Mark?
What?
That's called having a supporting cast.
That's what I'm saying.
If you don't have no supporting cast, you fucked. You screwed, man.
And that's the problem when you get to playoffs. You can't compete against the San Francisco.
And that's what all Cowboy fans, including this chump, that's what they seem to forget. This chump who went on the podcast with Law Nation yesterday.
Jesse Holly.
That's what everybody is seeming not.
Here's my, I'm sitting here like,
You
so
gotta have a supporting cast, man. If you're gonna be a bad boy, I'm sorry, man, but you gotta have a supporting cast.
but see, here's the problem.
You do.
Okay, Deron Bland, incredible with pick sixes and going to the house. But do we look at that guy and say he's a shutdown corner?
No.
But
No.
he's really
No.
a corner.
He's got so much to learn. It's not even funny. But people
are opportunists.
Yeah.
They're good opportunists.
Stephon Gilmore.
They know when to jump in and make the pick.
Right. Now, you got Stephon Gilmore. He had a good year, but do you look at him and say that he's an MVP again? No.
Not anymore.
So who else on that defense do you look at and say they're a great defensive player?
Well,
I honestly say I think Dan Quinn overachieved with what he had on the defensive line.
Our team is spoiled rotten. I've been saying that.
How do you feel about the Mozzie Smith pick? Like, how do you feel about Mozzie Smith?
I'm trying to understand. I was excited because I know we need. I'm not a college guy. I'm going to try and do better this year with the prospects and stuff. I was amazed that we actually recognized that we have a problem stopping the run, and that this was a big guy who was good at stopping the run. I don't know what they're doing with him because he's literally dropped under 300 pounds. I don't know if he was sick. I don't know if he was sick and he's lost weight, because I know when I got flesh-eating bacteria, I lost about 40 pounds. Or if this is by design, because I'm sitting here thinking I got enough smaller defensive tackles. O.C. and Digazua is fast. And see, here's the problem. I was saying this when we first got on. I played nose guard at 220 pounds. If you told me shoot the A gap, I can shoot that gap and I could be past the lineman before they could react. I could jab, step, and rip and just use speed. But when you are small or lightweight and you're taking on double teams, you can't. I'm back in the secondary getting launched. And this is the problem with the Cowboys defensive front. They are built to rush the passer. They're lean, they're tall, and you get a guy who's 6'5", who's 280. They're thin. They're not run stoppers. And so for us to take Mozzie, and now all of a sudden they got him under 300 pounds, it's like, what are you trying to do here? Our problem is we need some big fat guys that are shorter, that are like fire hydrants that you can't drive out the middle of the field.
Hence why you keep saying, who else beyond Micah Parsons on your defense?
Pack. Go Pack. Shut up.
Yeah.
Go Pack. Yeah, you kiss my ass. Okay, just kiss my. All you mother. Listen, I didn't. Go Pack.
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
Go hang out with some cheeseheads. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Pack some cheese.
Oh, Proper, I tell you what, Proper, I'm going to do like I said to the Eagles. You better not lose to the Lions, bro. You better not, because if you guys lose this one, you're going to talk about the Cowboys being chokers. You guys will be just as bad as choking too. Because you ain't won shit. Listen, how bad is it? We won a Super Bowl since before you guys did.
A year longer, I think.
Yep. Yes.
Longer. Yep. And understand, listen, I put some videos out, you know what I'm saying, during the season, and those videos, like, every day, 49er fans are cooking me. Okay.
Which ones?
I live in the Bay Area. There's something
they
else.
Are going all in. It is they do find it very annoying that I sort of kind of looked over how hurt they were that they lost to us in the NFC Championship game.
They're
I
sensitive.
didn't really think much of it, only because I was still concentrating on the fact that we lost the Super Bowl. So I didn't care about how.
Oh my God! C H and D.
Cocaine.
I didn't really care how 49ers fans felt until after I made those videos during the course of the season, Mark, and they started going in on me. I mean, calling me F-boy.
I literally have a guy who and I'm kind of like, if you think I'm an idiot, why do you watch? That's the thing I don't understand, because dude will email me about every other day, and shout out to him because his wife actually brought a shirt from my wife here, but he will constantly go in and say, "Oh, you're full of shit on this one." Oh, yeah, it's like, if you think I'm stupid, then why do you watch? What does that make you, bro?
There's a lot of Niner channels.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Well, see, Mark, part of the thing,
people are crazy.
Part of it is also the fact that the worst thing that someone like you, Mark, the worst thing that you could do is not say anything to them, regardless of what they say.
How's that the worst thing?
You acknowledging them is also empowering.
Shout out to Linda, the smartest Eagle fan I've ever seen. Logan Motorsports, shout out to you. No, you know what? I welcome all kinds of people. I mean, everybody is welcoming. Right. I just ask that we don't attack each other, okay? It's okay to trash the team and stuff, and don't wish people to get injured and things like that. Right. What's up, Steve? How you doing? I see you, Stephen Brown. I see you pop up on the screen, but you got to get a word in there, man. I know it's hard with Leo. Leo is the mouth that roared.
Yeah, he does a lot of talking over there.
Yeah, he does a whole lot of talking. And AJ too, man. You guys just got to jump in here and give your comments and thoughts, man. And let me say, shout out to all of you for being channel members and still hanging. I'm sorry, Stephen, what you got?
I live in New Jersey. I smell it very well.
Oh, man.
I'm in Trenton.
Oh, shit. You might be catching a contact from Leo up there because,
Exactly, Mark, because I was just sitting here looking at this thing and I'm about to spark it up because because I'm in this house of Cowboy fans. And it's got my anxiety up, so I need to.
You choose to be here. It's not like we tie you down and put a camera and a microphone in front of you and say, "Leo, you're held hostage here by Joe Boo Sports."
He brings it on.
Absolutely.
You actually are paying to be here, Leo, being a channel member.
And that's the other thing too. I'm paying $3 a month for this.
Oh shit.
So what's that say about me?
You got issues, bro.
What's that say about me?
What it says about you is
cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug, buddy. All right, I actually enjoy this because for me this is all fun. I went to T-Mobile yesterday because I'm getting the S24. It'll be, I pre-bought it and stuff. And the guy who's working there is like, "Oh, I was going to talk to you, but then I saw that shirt." And I was like, "Who's your team?" He said, "Eagles." I was like, "Oh, shit." It's like, I can't get away from y'all. But then we ended up having a conversation about all the drama that's going on both sides here. Christina Johnson, hey, what's going on? And Linda, shout out to Linda. But for me, I enjoy the trash talking back and forth. That's half the fun of the game and stuff. And to see the Eagles imploding. Now, had the Eagles been on a run like they did last year, it'd be hard as hell. But, know that my son, Philly 500, that he's suffering too.
Stop.
No, misery loves company.
Stop.
But you know what? Philly. I tell you what's funny. The funniest thing is the biggest video that Philly 500 has is literally me melting down.
Of course it is.
It's got more views.
I love to see Cowboys fans like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, God.
I watch that video a couple of times a week.
Yeah.
Right.
I love it. If I'm down, if I'm feeling down. Matter of fact, not only do I watch that, but I actually go to your broadcast
and watch it live.
The old video of that whole broadcast, so I can even. I enjoy listening to your son scream. You know what I'm saying?
I tell you what's even funnier.
My new favorite one is the one with your wife.
I was gonna say.
Truck, and she is cracking up.
That thing and I tell you what, the comments in there are hilarious. I think that thing's like 70,000 views on it because everybody just like it was. And the thing is before I started recording, this went on for about 10 minutes. She was like, I'm going to stop. And she literally just couldn't. She's like, I feel bad for you, honey.
The most authentic thing about it, what makes it so awesome, is that you can obviously tell she could not help herself.
She's like, get the camera off me.
You melting, like you could see it. She was trying to hold it in. She was trying to catch herself. But God damn it, Mark, you was funny as hell, and she was cracking up. and I loved it. You know what I'm saying?
And and here's what, let me say shout out to her because that is my partner in crime. Tomorrow, we will have been married 20 years to the day. It's our anniversary.
Congratulations.
And here's what's cool.
Wow, happy anniversary, boy.
We recognized this last week, and I said, honey, our anniversary is on Sunday. I said, how about we go ahead and try and go away for the weekend, right? And she said, wait a minute. She said, what about the playoff games on Sunday? I said, yeah, but I said, it's our anniversary, 20 years. She said, why don't we wait until Monday to go? I was like,
that's how you know you hit.
I was like, oh, baby. I was like, baby, I love you. Baby, I love you.
That's a lot of it when I had.
That's a lot of
female.
Yeah. Tell him, Derek. Tell him.
One time I had like
you a winner, bro.
I was supposed to take this girl out, and my car. A whole bunch of stuff happened with my car that week, and she said, "Oh, we can't still go? What do you mean? Money on you, and we're supposed to walk."
Oh man, but that's the fun of this. I want to play something real quick. This is a comedy piece, but it really hits home that I saw today on Instagram. Let me see if I can get the sound up here.
Cowboys, right?
Don't you listen to this?
Not everyone claps. See, 5 minutes ago, you all loved me, pero now...
She says I'm a Cowboy fan.
I get it. You know how hard it is to be a fan of a team that sucks?
I've seen this.
It's like you're dating that guy that can't get his shit together.
That's true.
Yeah.
Every season, they make promises they can't keep. Nah, baby, come back this year. I promise you a ring. Oh, okay. It never works. And my friends tell me all the time. They say the same thing. Switch teams. You gotta switch teams. That's my team. I can't do that. That's my team. It's like having a kid that's flunking math, and you're like, f it. I'm gonna cheer for the neighbor's kid. He's smart. You can't do that.
Can't you?
Can't. You show up wearing a jersey, neighbor's kid, 82. I'm from Texas.
So I saw that. I was like, that's how it is. I can't put the neighbor's kid on my jersey, man. Oh man, you need to find a new team. No, man, I'm too invested in this shit, man. I love this team, and it drives me crazy.
Yeah. But that's the thing about the fandom. You don't do well when you're talking to people who aren't actual stakeholders, what I mean by that is people who aren't real fans, who don't have a team. They're just saying it to be saying it. You got a lot of people who just want to talk say things that they don't normally get to say to the opposite the fan base or what have you. And then Mark, at the same time, you're also dealing with a lot of people who have mental health issues too.
Oh,
and undiagnosed.
Yeah, yes. Thank you, Derek. Yep, thank you.
That's the worst.
Undiagnosed mental health issues. And a lot of times this is the one outlet that they have where it all comes out. So a lot of times some of these folks can't help themselves. You know what I'm saying? I'm starting to realize that too.
Oh yeah. And also too, it's real easy to be a keyboard warrior out there, and say that guy is crazy and he's my target. I mean, I've got, there's I'm hearing a lot now that, a lot of YouTubers, these big ones that are leaving YouTube and things now. You have to, the bigger you are, the more target you become. And, Leo, I can joke with you and talk with you and stuff like I can Philly 500, but some people actually take this serious and think like there's a war between me and Philly 500. And I actually have a fear that one of these people could be crazy enough to actually run you over. There's that Mark Holmes, and he's after Philly 500, my buddy, and go crazy. So there are some cray people that are out there.
And Philly 500 don't even know who these people are.
Yeah.
You probably never met them, maybe interacted once or twice on via chat or what have you. Who knows? But it really do be like that, and so I totally get it, like in terms of people have to understand what all you're actually dealing with.
Yeah, because a lot of times people will go through, it's Mark Holmes, it's your fault. You want it. It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I may want a player. I got no control over what Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones do. I don't. I wish, I honestly wish that I had enough power that what I say is what causes the Cowboys to win or lose. I wish I had that kind of power, but I don't.
So Boo does.
So here's the thing, Mark.
The gambling sites.
Do not do any more games outside of the red brick house.
No, we've lost there too.
See, all you gotta do, Mark, is just take a picture where you're sitting at, get you a green screen, and then put it behind there. Then you can say you're at the red brick house all the time, and nobody will know.
Oh Lordy!
Even when you're
the Cowboys were having problems before the red brick house. They just were. They've had problems forever. But I want to touch on the Micah Parsons situation here. With Jesse Holly, and I don't know if you guys saw my morning video this morning where Micah's mom kind of clamped back. And this is kind of crazy because I remember in high school, my junior year, my mom went to Coach Sell, the head coach, and kind of put a foot in his ass. She was 100% right, but she was wrong for doing so because it didn't help my situation any by you putting the coach on blast. And so for Micah's brother, saying what he's saying, and now he's kind of gone on some different channels and things and saying what he said was taken out of context. But Micah's mom kind of put Law and Jesse Holly on blast and saying, you don't know shit about what Micah does to stay on the field, what he does as far as with the teammates and having the cook come over or the chef come over and cook and where I've cooked and things like that. This is like a different world now where the families are front and center. It almost feels like we're Jerry Springer show.
Well, wait,
you gotta say
to be fair, no time in the history of the league or even this earth have we been able to have this kind of access to those people and those people having this kind of voice.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like if we'd have had, this kind of a platform, YouTube and social media back in the 90s, you probably would have heard even worse things. You see what I'm saying? So this is just like being able to hear from people's family members is just a sign of the times. It's where we are at this particular time.
True.
And
that's the case in everything out here too, because you can go back through where we got police stops. Shout out to my man Derek J, who's doing police reactions and stuff.
Yes,
there were people think that the things that we're seeing on camera, that police abusing people and all that this is new. This isn't new. It's just filmed now. Everybody now has a walking camera and is looking to go viral. So in the same thing where we're talking about calls that are missed on the field now, because there are so many cameras out there and stuff that are so high definition, it's easy to see things that used to be missed before when there was only like 2 cameras and they were in low def. So yes, as there's more and more.
Think about what they're saying though, Mark. Because if you think about the content of their words, they're basically talking as if, and which they are.
That's Joe the
fan.
Fan.
Coming from the perspective of a family member who watched someone they love put in a whole lot of work themselves. They see like Micah's mom and his brother and whoever else, all his family members know, because they watch with their own eyes how much work Micah has put in, how much sacrifice Micah has made in terms of time, not being able to be with his kids or whatever the hell it is. You know what I'm saying? So when you have somebody who did not witness any of the things that they witnessed, all of a sudden come from out of nowhere and say some very disparaging things about their loved ones, they actually now have the platform to be able to speak their mind, be it social media, be it YouTube, be it however the hell they doing it. We now know how certain people's family members feel. Remember, it took Patrick Mahomes' mom all of a training camp to get analysts to stop calling Patrick Mahomes Pat Mahomes, because that's his father. And his mom kept putting it out on social media, going crazy. Please stop calling him Pat Mahomes. That's his father. And I'm getting sick
and I
of
will
it.
say
And
this
guess what?
much
They
too,
stopped doing it.
and I'm going to say something too, which is actually kind of crazy. For years I've been working on trying to get media credentials.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, I was able to get that. No, I was able to get that at the Hall of Fame, which is not like it's regular stuff, but they don't recognize YouTube, even though they now have games on YouTube and stuff, YouTubers as regular media. You've got to be tied to a newspaper who reads a freaking newspaper or a radio station and stuff like that. But what I found out, which was really interesting, is you don't know who's watching. And the reason I say that is because I got a friend request from John Ridgway from Instagram. Wow. And I was like, because he was like, I want to thank you because of all the content that you put out there. My family loves it. Because I was like, because I understand John Ridgway being a nose tackle and stuff. And I was always like, You got to understand, you got to control the middle of the field. And I had done a bunch of videos on him. And when he was, put out on waivers and the Commanders got it, it broke my heart. And I've got a John Ridgway jersey and stuff. And so he reached out to me and said, thank you. And I'm like, you watch me? And so when you have Law Nation with Jesse Holly and things like that, his mother is seeing this and going off and responding. So you don't actually know. And this is what I will say to some of us YouTubers. You kind of have to be careful a little bit by what you do because it can kind of come back to bite you in the ass. For all we know, Jerry Jones could be watching this, You just don't know what you don't know who is watching it. And there's been more times than not, and I think, Brian, I was saying to you, I can't remember what it was, but I had done something as a fireside chat, and it seemed like the next morning ESPN verbatim was doing exactly what I was saying was going on, and I was kind of like, that's kind of a coincidence.
Yeah,
and it's not the first time.
Somebody's watching you, Mark.
That maybe a producer. Hey, here's an idea for tomorrow.
Producers.
Of course.
Yeah, the producers.
Yep.
Yeah.
ESPN is losing ratings, and people are coming and watching YouTube. So it only makes sense. Hey, what is these people on YouTube doing? We need to
but
do that.
it's not like Shannon Sharp. He has a thing on YouTube now.
Yeah,
him and Chad Johnson.
Yeah. The when they do the immediate reactions after a game or what have you.
They're their little side hustle.
And so is Club Shay Shay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then the Pivot podcast.
Seth Joyner, don't he have one? Seth Joyner has a.
Yeah, here's the thing about Seth Joyner, and this is, again, coming from an Eagles fan.
He's been point blank great for a while.
He's really good, but he's also very angry.
He is.
I can't.
And I love it.
That anger all the time.
But you know what? But I tell you what, though, he was 100% right back when they were 10-1, and he was saying, this is not a good team. He was there before anybody else. He's like, listen, this is not a good team. We are not what we think we are. And as the shit went downhill, he kept trying to tell him, it's okay, man. We got 4 more games. We got Patsies out there. He's like, are you sure about that? I'm not sure we can beat these guys.
Before it even started, before the shitstorm even started in Philadelphia, Seth Joyner, he was saying something then. He was trying to tell everybody.
Yeah.
It's getting ready to happen. It's getting ready to happen. And, it was almost as if they wasn't listening to what he was saying. But, he said it. He said, hey, man, look, I've been through this before. I've been through this in Philadelphia before. It's getting ready to go down.
We all said it, Thomas, watching the game, man. We all said it. But,
and, if you think about it, I even said it a long time ago. And if you want me to go in my
everybody got caught up with the 10-1.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody.
In game time, Brian, when was the last time you talked to Dracula?
Yeah, Dracula.
He does. He always had that pale face and like those sunken eyes, like he was a vampire.
Brian,
right now.
Is this person an Eagles fan you're talking about?
No, it's Sirianni.
Sirianni.
Brian, you crack me up every time.
Time out. No, wait.
You crack me up every time you say Dracula.
Hold on. Listen.
Come on, man.
All right. First of all, I know I am in a Cowboys house and everything like that, but these little jokes y'all got about, are y'all telling me that the inside joke amongst y'all is you call my head coach Dracula?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
He looks like a vampire. You've never seen that?
He's got
He's Dracula, dog. He's Dracula.
Hey, Leo, if you feel any better, Jerry Jones is Skeletor.
Yeah.
We got this for our own.
He's Palatine. Okay, he's Palatine.
Related. We got names for our own people, and just since it's a term for endearment. Really, that's how I look at it.
Yeah,
all I'm saying is okay. Again, I know where I'm at.
Listen,
so
you got to know this, Leo.
I'm gonna be cool. But I got you.
It all comes from him running his mouth in the tunnel.
I know.
I know. And don't get me wrong. Eagle fans love it when you're winning.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong. It's great. But when you're not winning, it's like, shut the F up, bro.
Tell me that doesn't look like a vampire there, guys.
Again, the one thing I will say is that that's the way it's supposed to be. We're consistent.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? We're consistent.
I would agree.
We're not gonna tell you that we're not gonna pee on you and swear you sweating. You know what I'm saying? That's not how we do. You know what I'm saying? And so I get that, and I get a lot of the vitriol is deserved. It's self-imposed.
Man, you wear a shirt all week saying "Beat Dallas,"
and you're
flexing, and then you get smoked. It's like, stop.
We call Stephen Jones Scrooge McDuck. So we got nicknames.
It ain't just Eagles.
He is Scrooge McDuck. Tell me, Stephen Jones don't remind you of Scrooge McDuck. He acts just like him. Oh, I got to save my number one dime, and blah blah.
Yeah,
blah.
it took me a minute to figure out who Catboy was. You know what I'm saying? And then I was like, oh, snap. That's what Cowboys fans call Stephen Jones. They call him Catboy?
Yeah.
Damn. But the thing that I don't understand.
That was a big deal between me and Mark last year. We were going at it in the summertime. It got heated at times. He was coming at me because he kind of was like, "Now you like Catboy." He was all up on.
Don't bring up that shit, man. Don't bring. No, but because it finally seemed like maybe he turned the corner.
You got to yield to Brian on that one. You got to yield to game time on that one. He's right. You did.
Shoot, Brian, that ain't nothing. That ain't nothing. Laying up from Alabama, call him Dollar Bill.
Dollar Bill. That's it.
You remember when you remember what's the name from
Bernie Mac?
Yeah.
Bernie Mac used to say Dollar Bill.
Yeah, that's Dollar Bill right there. You got it.
Wasn't that the Players Club?
Yeah. Yes, the Players Club. Yep.
But anyway, getting back to the original thing, we all got caught up, and me and Mark, I got to give Mark credit. He was in the early part of this. He was looking into Eagles were 10. Eagle fans didn't see that happening. They were just getting caught up with the wins. And to the Eagles' credit, they were winning these games, but they had flaws the whole way. And
Dallas
had flaws the whole season. But
right, look, I'm gonna say this. All Eagles fans did was, I always say this. There's what we say to everybody else, and then there's what we say to each other.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I'm saying? And with everybody else, we're going to say, yeah, we 10-1. Yeah, we this, we that, we this. What we saying to each other is, we have not played a complete game. You know what I'm saying? We have not seen.
Yeah, but the thing that was funny was everybody was like, "Oh, well, they're not playing their best football, but they find a way to win, and that's the sign of a good team."
And I was like, because here's the thing.
Oh, they were saying that a lot too. The ESPNs and the Foxes, they find a way. Jalen Hurts is finding a way, and we all know it's a team game. But I can't tell you every time I go to a stream, it's Jalen versus Dak. Again, I'm going to say this one more time. I don't have to knock your guy to promote and lift my guy. I just don't have to down Jalen Hurts. I like the kid. We don't have to go into it. We can if we want, but yeah, we don't have to.
I just don't. Here's what I get. Here's what I don't get. Jalen has been in the league half as much as Dak.
I get that a lot.
And had one good season.
Why are we what are we actually talking about here?
Just like
Dak's
I hear
been
about
here longer than
wins. Jalen's got 2 and he's only been in the league. Okay, but again, there's a reason for that. And I'm not trying. It makes me demean Jalen when I say your GM went all in last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
traded for AJ Brown. He went and
something.
But here's the thing. But I honestly though, touching on Brian.
That's why, and that's the reason why when they win the Super Bowl, that's the reason why members in the executive positions get rings too. You know what I'm saying? Because there's parts of this that aren't just players. You got to have you see support staff that
Executive
get it.
of the year. There's an award for that.
All of them, and how we won that. You know what I'm saying? And so my point is that like when you think about what's going on with Dallas and everything like that, I mean, we can talk about the players all day. You know what I'm saying? But I don't really hear much about, like who are these scouts scouting? You know what I'm saying? Where are they getting these? Where are they going to get these players? And what talent are they actually bringing in? You know what I'm saying?
That's the problem.
And I'm
Listen, 2 years ago, we knew that there was a problem at linebacker. And our solution was bringing in Anthony Barr.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Barr in training camp, who was recovering from an ACL.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else in the roster had not played. We had gotten rid of Jalen Smith, and we had nobody. And this is and that problem continued going into this year. We got overshown and thought, okay, let's get a rookie who's what was it, 4th round pick? We're going to draft a 4th round pick. We're going to plug him in. He's going to be our starter here. Instead of actually going out and saying, we got a problem, because we got guys like Jabril Cox who messed up their knee. And, we finally just said, okay, we're going to let that guy go. We had Jalen Smith with drop foot. So linebacker has been a problem for 3 years in the same way that safety was for about 6 or 7 years. And they finally realized, okay, we got to do something at safety. And now it's kind of like anybody can play linebacker. Oh,
what about draft picks too, Mark?
We try and get
draft
cute.
picks too.
We try and get cute. Like I said, when it comes to try and do, like re-sign a guy, whether it's Jalen Smith or whether it's a Michael Gallup. We try and get him on the cheap because they're coming off an injury. Our 2nd round pick, we try and hit lightning in a bottle. We go with Sean Lee. Loved Sean Lee. Loved the player. He was never healthy. We try and get a deal. Oh, let's draft. And Mark can remind me. I mean, who am I forgetting? All the 2nd round picks that we bring in here.
Oh, we just need to trade the 2nd round pick.
Jones.
Yeah, you got Boss Man Fat. You got
and
Jalen
last year's draft, they overthought it. They got cute instead of just taking Cyrus Torrance, who was sitting there.
Exactly.
I was at the draft with Mark saying, "Oh my God, Joey Porter Jr. fell to us. Oh my God, Steve Avila is still on the board." And we get Mozzie, and we're like looking at each other. And Mark loved it, but we really didn't know. And I'm like, "Oh my God, what did we just do?"
But typically here's the thing is this is a Cowboys philosophy. Typically, and Mozzie, the jury's out. He might end up being a bust. But if you look at 1st round picks that the Cowboys have done since 2010. They're about 80%. And Leo, you can look at your team right now. You got questions about Jordan Davis and what you traded up, right or wrong?
No.
Okay. All right. Okay. Maybe not.
They already want to bench.
From Lane Johnson on, you can't say that you've had that much success in the 1st round like the Cowboys have.
Correct.
But the Cowboys, here's the thing about them. Well, they do well with the 1st round pick, but the 2nd round pick, they're looking for 1st round talent that's discounted into the 2nd round. For whatever reason. Well, let's take Jalen Smith. Some people say he may never play again. Our doctors checked him out, right? Let's take Randy Gregory. He should have been a 1st round guy, but he didn't pass a drug test, at the combine. Well, we'll take a flyer on him. We'll take Boss Man Fat. Well, he wants to be a rapper. Okay, that's all right. Well, we'll let him be a rapper and stuff. He's got some questions.
Asante Samuel.
Right, it's like they always take somebody who has an issue. The ones that they didn't, D-Law and Diggs, have been great.
Right.
But every time we try to go to the scratch and dent, we're trying to get a 1st round talented guy dirt cheap. It ends up being that the shit is broken. It's damaged, and it never works out.
Just go out and get me a stud. Like we're always trying. We always try and get cute, and it's like we got cute. We rolled the dice and held our breath that Leighton Vander Esch would stay healthy. He didn't. Surprise. I feel bad. We get cute with Tyron Smith. He's a stud when he's healthy, but he's healthy half of the time.
And he'll be back next year. You know that, right, Brian?
Yeah, he's going to be back. Yep, I can see it now. And I hope that we still go out and draft a left tackle or go out and get me a stud guard and you could slide out a Tyler
Right.
if need be. But I want a center. I'm on record. I want a first round center, or I want a like top 2 round center. These are
Definitely
all
one that's
things that
bigger
we
than.
need. But
Yeah.
we always try and
Yeah.
get
And
cute.
they need to do their due diligence at the scouting combine. When they go there and they look at their
They do
guys, they
their
need to
due
talk to them.
diligence, but they try and get cute. I keep saying it. They're getting cute. They try and they call it window dressing their draft board. Well, we got this guy rated higher, but we have a need here, and we'll drop. And it's been getting them lately.
Well, I think that's
draft.
also what's the remedy in terms of, to Mark's point when he said Lane Johnson or Lane Johnson on bad.
No. After Lane Johnson was like the last great number 1 pick that you had.
Yeah, what I'm saying to you is that when you look at,
you had Fletcher Cox and stuff before him and things like that.
Right. Fletcher and Brandon, and we drafted Brandon in the first round. We drafted Fletcher Cox in the first round. But my point is when you think about who are our scouts, that's the part that and how talented are our scouts, and how much do they actually take those scouts' word when bringing in certain players and checking them out. You know what I'm saying? So as of late, I think they've done really well. I think we got, when you look at, I like the Keely Ringo pick, as far as like our DBs go, we have Isaiah Rodgers who's going to finish out his 1 year suspension and be able to play.
No. You're missing my point. What I'm saying is the Cowboys have been pretty good at getting first round draft picks. Okay. That's the one thing. One of the few things you can honestly look at the Cowboys and say that they've been good at. You get Micah, you get, Tyron Smith, you've got Zach Martin, you had Des Bryant, you've got great players. 2012, you got Fletcher Cox, and 2013, you got Lane Johnson. Incredible. And you got Brandon Graham in 2010.
Yep.
2014, you got Marcus Smith. How'd he do for you?
I did terrible. He ended up going
Nelson Aguilar.
Yep. Who's now playing for Baltimore.
Carson Wentz.
Who's playing for Los Angeles.
Derek Barnett.
Who's having a hell of a year with Houston.
No, but he was the bane of Philly 500's existence. Andre Dillard.
Yeah, I know, but listen, these are all players. Look, we had Patrick Chung for a minute.
Okay. Jalen Reagor.
And then got a
Reagor?
Who?
Jalen Reagor?
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this, Leo. Do you Eagle fans ever regret firing Andy Reid after what he's done?
He needed to go, though. He needed a reset.
That was something that really needed to happen, and it was more
for both sides.
What was best for his family and
Andy Reid needed new scenery after what was going on.
Right, that's what I was about to say. Yeah, you got to remember his son. His son.
Yeah, I remember
died.
his son passed away.
Yeah, and
did
then
he commit suicide or something? Or
no, it was like a drug overdose or something. But he was.
It was like a drug overdose.
It happened during training camp. And then, to be honest with you, I think that, honestly, I'm happy about that whole situation, not just for Andy, but also for Kansas City, because they needed to exercise something. Remember homeboy that killed himself in front of Romeo and them? That had just happened. So those were two different entities that really could have used each other. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I think that for that organization to be able to move past what happened with homeboy, you know what I'm saying, and Romeo and them, and then for Andy, because of what happened here, it was just, I'm happy for Red. Be honest with you, I'm happy for him and his family. They really needed that change of scenery. So it was one of those situations that really went beyond football. To be honest with you, you know what I'm saying. So that's why I never hold it against Andy Reid for doing as well as he did. You know what I'm saying? Because it worked out best for him. That was what was best for him and his family. Sort of kind of like homeboy that went and took over for the Dolphins when his son died. He was the coach for Green Bay. He was an assistant coach for Green Bay, and then took over from Miami. His son had died while he was he was coaching Green Bay.
Didn't Tony Dungy's son pass away or something too?
Yeah.
Yes, his son died. Yes. Yeah, he killed himself.
That's what I was thinking of.
I was actually part of the all pro dads. It was an organization that Tony Dungy started that had it so that fathers would go into schools with their kids and wear their favorite jersey, and we do skill building things with each other at the school. You know what I'm saying? I did that with my oldest son, who's now 17. So yeah, there was a lot of things that, the behind the scenes stuff. Yeah, those things matter, and again, we don't really understand when you get it from the player's perspective in terms of how much a change of scenery could matter. Again, a la Derek Barnett. You know what I'm saying? I think he's I think he had a hell of a year. All he really needed after all this time.
Well, look at Anthony Hitchens for us. He went to KC and got his Super Bowls.
Yeah. Didn't DeMarcus Ware do the same thing? He went to Denver. And got a chip. You know what I'm saying? So it was more so like, it a lot of times there are those times where that player going somewhere else, it was probably better.
Yeah, I think it was definitely better.
Another person, I always go by one person's loss is another person's treasure.
Correct.
You never know.
Correct. Yeah.
Never know.
And then there's those situations where it needs to happen. In order for that. And now everybody that Mark named, you know what I'm saying, you have to ask yourself, like as disastrous as the pick may have been, what did we get in return? And the things that we got for Jalen Reagor, for Carson Wentz, for Derek Barnett, for, like the things we got for a Javon Hargrave, a TJ Edwards, all these different things, it added up to some crazy ass draft picks that got us players that we have today, like a Jalen Carter and a Jordan Davis, AJ Brown and so forth. And also you look at the fact that I said this the last time we were all on, the compensatory picks. You know what I'm saying? We got a 3rd rounder, 2 5th rounders, or 3 5th rounders. We got a nice little haul in terms of compensatory picks that we're benefiting from.
Okay, but okay, now you're boasting that we got all these compensatory picks. If you spend a number 1 and you get a 4th, sorry, that's not equal. That's not equal, bro.
No. I'm not. No, I'm not saying that, and I'm definitely not making that type of. I'm not making that type of.
Because if you're asking me, would I rather have drafted Micah Parsons and have him, or drafted Jalen Reagor and get a 6th round compensatory pick, I think I'd take Micah Parsons.
No, I'm not saying that either. What I'm saying is I'm taking complete ownership of it being a terrible pick.
Yeah, and herein lies, and I will say, here's where I will also say that at least your team recognizes we've made mistakes and move on, because the Cowboys, again, with this mentality of we want a deal discounted, because they end up doing like they did Michael Gallup. Here it was, we don't want to pay Amari Cooper, he didn't do what we want him to do, and he's $21 million. So we'll get rid of him and we'll sign Michael Gallup to a $62 million deal for a guy who had been declining for multiple years, who was injured.
And how much did Cedric Wilson sign for?
He signed for $6.5 million. And he never got on the field down there. And that was the mistake that they made. So you would have been better off bringing back Cedric Wilson at that $6.5 million instead of signing Michael Gallup to a big contract. But we did the same thing with Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard, here it is. Tony Pollard, you've got a broken foot. We're going to franchise tag you. Okay? And here it is. We do $82 million, I believe it was, to Terrence Steele, who's recovering from an ACL. So stop signing and drafting guys that are injured.
Well,
how about we just do that? Let's just make that a rule. We will wait to see how they respond from the injury before we go ahead and get them. How about, because Sean Lee was an incredible talent, but Sean Lee had a messed up knee in college, and that messed up knee didn't all of a sudden get right. It lingered throughout his whole career.
Right.
Okay? Morris Claiborne had a messed up arm in college when we drafted him. We moved up from, you took a first and a second to move up to get him. Never could stay healthy on the field. This is the problem. Why do you keep drafting and signing guys that are injured? It makes no sense other than we can get them cheaper. They've fallen in the draft, so we can get them at a discount.
Well, it's crazy because the draft is their only.
I will say this. You got like one of the things that I think not just Cowboys fans, but I think other fan bases, period, is we don't know what accountability looks like, and then when we see it, we don't know what the we wait.
Let's back up here. React. There is no accountability for the Cowboys because Jerry's not going to fire Stephen Jones. Jerry's already said, look, you can't fire the GM, and when you're the owner. And if they fail, what's the ramifications? It's not like they're not the wealthiest franchise in the world. Here's the thing that I actually look at and say, if there were a conspiracy theory that the NFL is only about making money, the best thing is to have drama with the Dallas Cowboys. Because they said literally because the Cowboys lost that game against the Packers, all the money was on the Cowboys. That literally $1 billion went to the gambling companies. $1 billion on one game. And here it is.
Saw that coming.
We got Championship Sunday tomorrow. And we talking about Micah Parsons' mom going after Jesse Holley, a guy who only played 7 games in his career.
Who's Jesse Holley, though?
Jesse Holley's the one that said Micah Parsons, that he believes that Micah Parsons is lazy and selfish.
What? Wait, I'm sorry. Wait a minute.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Jesse Holley believes that Micah Parsons
is lazy and selfish.
But wait, this was Jesse Holley that said this?
Yes, a former Dallas Cowboy wide receiver who last played in 2011.
Who got on the team through a reality show.
Right. Yes.
For real.
And that's the guy that said that Micah Parsons.
He said he believes that Micah Parsons is lazy and not putting in the extra work because he should be having the guys over doing extra film study because he says he just wants to be an edge rusher because it's easy. See, when he plays linebacker, he seems lost and he's not putting in the study. And my thing is you're asking a guy to know 2 positions, and I was like, bro, you couldn't know 1 position, okay? Could you play tight end and wide receiver? You couldn't play wide receiver.
Wait, what I don't understand is that and again, you guys are the subject matter experts here, and I'm just the guy on the outside looking in. But I'm just trying to understand, like, how did Jesse? Well, first of all, who the hell is Jesse Holley?
Well, I remember him.
When did he become? When did his opinion become important?
Because we have a mob mentality right now. Cowboy fans, we're walking around with torches and pitchforks, and we're looking for somebody to go ahead and tar and feather. We want somebody to blame, be it Dak Prescott, be it Micah Parsons, be it anybody but apparently the Joneses. And when he says, when Jesse Holley goes on with Law Nation and crew on YouTube and says, in my mind, I think Micah Parsons is selfish and, kind of throwing him under the bus. James Steplight says, come on, Mark, he's telling the truth. James, wow. I respectfully say you're an idiot. Sorry. Totally. What player in the NFL because this comparison was, why can't I think of I keep wanting to say Patrick Willis, but it's not Patrick Willis. This 49.
Compared him to Fred Warner.
Fred Warner, yeah. When you look at him versus Fred Warner, and it's like, hold it, you can stop right there. Because what you're looking at is Fred Warner in front of him has Nick Bosa, who's the equivalent of Micah Parsons. Right. He's got Chase Young, he's got Armstead, and he's got Hargrave.
Yeah.
Okay?
Defensive line.
Who the hell does Micah Parsons have? And you are sitting here saying, well, yeah, he's good at pass rushing because he's got 14 sacks and 100 pressures, but he's not doing enough studying to be a great linebacker too. It's like, wait a minute. Who else in the NFL is asked to play 2 positions? Okay, so and hypothetically, even if he played great at linebacker, who's rushing the quarterback?
Yeah, that's
Who's
the
because
dilemma with-
he got 100 plus pressures and 14 sacks. The next closest guy is Dorrance Armstrong with 7. Are you looking and saying Dorrance Armstrong is equivalent of, say, Nick Bosa?
No.
That's how it is with Micah.
We literally are taking. So here's the thing that's crazy is we have a feeding frenzy that says get rid of Micah Parsons, get rid of CeeDee Lamb, get rid of Dak Prescott. The best thing, the reason why you were 12-5 are those guys. Okay?
For real.
That's the reason. So you're saying get rid of those guys and get draft picks for the guys that drafted Schoonmaker and Mozzie Smith. And you say let them draft a quarterback, the guys that won Paxton Lynch, Connor Cook, and drafted Quincy Carter. That's what your solution is?
Yeah.
That's what your solution is. Okay.
My frustration is how come we're not making moves like these teams like 49ers? And
that's the
going out
problem.
with Youngs and all that.
Yeah.
Well, why can't that be us? Every time I get tired of hearing all the time.
That's the thing. And Loyal, you are 100% right. Because
there's no change in your organization. Yeah, listen.
Shit. That's all we keep hearing.
And that's what makes it frustrating for you. See, first of all, I'll just be honest with you.
You love it.
So digging all of this turmoil that's going on with you guys. I love it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that those who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. I'm in a glass house too, but nothing like this. And it's easily recoverable. You know, this right here, you know, like you guys have.
Hold on. Stop up for a second. Hey, Bear. Hey, Bear. You want to hear something interesting, Bear?
He about to
Bear says Michael was drafted to be a linebacker. You want to know somebody else who was drafted to be a linebacker too? You want to know who else was drafted to be a linebacker?
Who?
The Manster. The Manster. You don't know who the Manster? Randy White? Randy White got close to being cut as a linebacker. He was drafted as a linebacker, and they made him a defensive tackle.
Yep.
So I don't want to hear, well, he was drafted as screw what he was drafted as. He is playing as one of the best players in the NFL at defensive end. I don't care what you were drafted at. Charlie Waters was drafted as a cornerback, but became one of the best safeties in the Cowboys' history.
Wait a minute.
Mark Tuinei, Randy White.
No.
Reggie White.
Randy White for the Cowboys, the Manster, one of the greatest players in our team's history. Okay? Mark Tuinei was drafted as a defensive lineman and was part of the Great Wall of Dallas that won 3 Super Bowls. So don't give me this shit. This is the same shit that Leo came in here. Well, he was drafted in the 4th round. You know how many times they mess up in the damn draft and they say that this guy's going to be great and he turns out to be a bum? Look at Rhaegar. They thought he was going to be a decent receiver, and he was ass. Come on, man. Being drafted doesn't mean shit. People miss all the time. How many people passed on Tom Brady? Are we going to look and say, well, Tom Brady, he was a 6th-round pick, so, you know, he can't ever play? Come on, man. Don't be stupid.
Yeah, but, all right, so answer me this, and this is for all y'all, and I really am. I'm asking not for a friend. I'm asking for me because I really want to know what do y'all really think is the issue? You said
Stephen Jones
on draft picks.
No, listen. No, we do enough in the draft. We hit on the draft better than anybody else. We actually find better undrafted rookie free agents than anybody else. The problem is they basically have done 90% of the job. They don't use free agency. Free agency, you can't build a team with free agents. But what you have to do is you have to look at the holes that you have and say, I need help here. If the Cowboys had gotten, and it wouldn't have cost them much, Bobby Wagner a couple years ago. Because Bobby Wagner was available and wanted to come here the same time we signed Anthony Barr.
Did he say, come get me?
No, that was Earl Thomas. But what I'm saying is, if you had gone out and gotten Bobby Wagner, who this year was only $5 million, I guarantee he would have been a lot better than any of the safeties that you put out there.
Not only that, Mark, they could have gotten both of them. They could have gotten both.
That's what I'm saying.
And Anthony Barr. They could have gotten both.
Well, Barr, we got Barr, but Barr was spent. But I'm just saying, if you had gotten Bobby Wagner, and Bobby Wagner had been on this team this year, I think he had like 170 tackles this year.
Yeah.
You don't think that defense would have been a lot better against the run? Okay, that's one move. What if instead of us taking the 4th round pick and trading for Trey Lance, that maybe we took a 3rd round pick if that's what it took to get Derrick Henry out of Tennessee? Because Tennessee knew that he was going to be leaving. I'll take a 3rd round pick and get rid of him now. We're not winning shit. And you put him in the backfield instead of with Tony Pollard to be your bruising back. You don't think that would have helped us in the playoffs? And what if you had just gone out and gotten yourself, a really good offensive lineman that could have filled in a swing tackle that might have cost you $7 or $8 million, and an extra defensive lineman? If you had done those brought in 4 free agents like that, it's not bottom basement ones, at least quality ones that are starter capable, you're a totally different team. And that's the problem with the Cowboys is we constantly say we believe in our guys and we don't have, the cupboard is bare of linebackers. We'll just convert this guy and make him a linebacker now during the season. It's like, shit. That's the problem.
Right.
That's the problem. We do enough to get you excited. Look, Brandon Cooks, that was a good move. Stephon Gilmore, that was a good move. But that wasn't enough. You can't look at a team like San Francisco that has George Kittle, that has Debo, that had Brandon Ayuk, that says, hey, let's go out here and get Christian McCaffrey. We ain't got that kind of firepower on our team.
No.
You can't look at a team that's already got, Joey Bosa and Fred Warner and Armstead and all this stuff, and they go out and they get Chase Young and Randy Gregory to add to the mix too.
Imagine what Shanahan would do if he had Dak Prescott on his
That's what I'm saying, right? So that's where you look at it and say
they wanted Dak Prescott. Before Dak got his contract, they were all ready to sign him.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying is we as Cowboy fans, we look and we say we choked. But the reality is you ain't got that kind of firepower that those teams have.
Nope.
Yeah.
You're not even close talent-wise.
Scrooge McDuck, owner.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. We've gone way over today. Shit. Is Game Time still here?
Loyal Cowboy.
Did Game Time, because I know he's got his check.
Remember, this remind me of two stubborn old men in trading places. Remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They will
pay $1.
one of the richest men, 2 of the richest men in New York. Come to find out, they're
betting
stubborn that they went
for $1.
Mm-hmm.
You won $1. Game Time. Are you on tonight?
Yeah, 7:00. Me and Phil.
Oh shit! So I need to go get me something to eat then. But no, this is a great discussion, and even Leo has tamped himself down where he's not the whole show. He's only 75% of it.
Shut up in here. I don't try and talk too much until you guys ask me something.
No, but it's all good. Like I said, I love all my people and everything else and stuff. We got some real problems. Brian, though, Troy, Michigan is about 28 miles away. There is an Embassy Suites there.
That's fine, man.
Mark,
that's north.
Mark.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that every week the finger has been pointed at a different person because of what went down against Green Bay?
Yeah.
It's every day it's new drama.
It's gonna be somebody.
He's right.
This hold your horses because it's gonna be somebody next week who they're gonna point the finger at.
Well, see, and that's why I think that's why you haven't heard anything from anybody from the Cowboys.
I don't care.
Look, everybody's laying low because it's like, I don't want to be the target next.
Well, look, guys. Hey, listen.
Well, I heard they went after Jake Ferguson's girlfriend the other day.
Wow.
They're gonna blame somebody next week. I'm willing to bet you the next person who they're gonna blame is
who? Who?
Trevon Diggs' cousin. Trevon Diggs' cousin.
Stephon? Why are they going to blame him?
Because, hear me out. Because they They claim, I heard this from Mike Fisher, they claim that his cousins attacked somebody at the game against Green Bay. That's what was said. That's what
Wow.
was said.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, look, guys, I gotta go.
We all gotta go.
I'm going to a young entrepreneurs gala to
They let you in the door?
Huh?
They're gonna let you in the door?
They let you in the door?
You know what? There is more to me than this here and smoking. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Just so yes, as a matter of fact, the mayor of Newark, New Jersey, Mayor Ras Baraka is going to be there.
Okay.
And so I have to go and I have to make an appearance and and talk to some folks, and then that's it. So yes, they will let me in the door, Mark.
I was just about to say all right, man. And actually, we're going to get out of here so that way I can get ready to watch Game Time and Prime Time here at 7 o'clock. And we got all off season to go ahead and kill the Cowboys. We got plenty of time.
I'll email you next week so we could talk. But yeah, I want to do that. Let's talk about what's happening with our teams coming up.
There you go.
Man, always good. Hey, Derek, you're doing good with your show, man. I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? Brian, everybody else, y'all be easy. I guess I'm gonna see y'all tomorrow, maybe.
Yeah, we'll be live.
Okay, bet. I'll be looking for y'all. All right, y'all
peace out.
Peace.
All right,
See you, Leo.
Later, y'all.
All right, bye, Felicia. All right, good people. No, that's not EDP. Come on, man. Jeez, flip. All right, good people. It's been definitely I feel better actually getting a lot of this off my chest with you guys, and appreciate everybody.
Like Dr. Phil, Mark Holmes show.
This is exactly what we need. Seriously. But I'm hoping that Game Time and that loyal Cowboy and everybody else keeps the pressure on the Joneses. That we need to know that, we can blame Micah, we can blame CD and Dak and all that, but the reality is they've got to get us the players to be able to succeed. I don't see the talent level across the board like other teams, and that goes back to them being cheap.
They can into getting players. That's what I'm.
Yeah.
Ownership has to do their part, and then the players have to do their part.
Yep. There you go.
And we could have easily gotten Derrick Henry last year. All we had to do is get him, and when we would have gotten him, Jerry should have put him into the office and say, "Yo, man, look, we know you're making something like 12 to 15 million. We're going to restructure this. We're going to renew it."
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That easy. But dollar bill. They too much money, and we under the cap. I'm like, man, you need to come up with this, man, because, man, it's becoming the oldest excuse in the world.
It sure is. All right, good people, we're going to get out of here, and we'll close with this.
Disrespected yet? Does this defense have any heart?
No, they suck.
No.
I've been telling you all season, Philly.
They've shit on you. They've shit on you. Don't you hear me? Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Slate, they shit on you. They've shit on you. They have shit on you. Don't you hear me? Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Slate,